Yes, I have a long Jean Silver t-shirt on, which gets me some really weird looks in the grocery store, and then people go, "Oh, is that a pirate movie?" And I go, "No, it's a porn star," and then they sort of give me a dirty look and slink away. But anyhow, we're back. It's been a whirlwind of a week, that's all I can say. The response to the magazine, like I said, has been overwhelming, and I got another thing coming out shortly. That fiction book I was talking about, Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square. So when I got that and the other one in, I will announce it. Got requests for more Twisted Tales from New York City Liquidators. Actually, every day was a story when you think of it. It's just you try to put some of the ones together that were like completely out of hand. And the thing is, Norm got into doing shows. I think I talked about the Jabbit show where he got in under Giuliani's nose, and well, basically, I can recap that. That's a quick one. Basically, they ran this thing in the Jabbit Center. It was basically an eroticon, and it got in under Giuliani's nose, and Norman took a spot there. And of course, this was the Teamsters, and Norman didn't like to pay, so basically they hand trucked. You could truck things in on 2 wheels, not 4. So basically, I pulled up in a van, and his stock boys unloaded all this shit, and we basically had a whole pile of VHS tapes in the middle of this thing, which was really a classy event. Like I had said, Al Goldstein was there, and we were sort of making fun of Giuliani because he was acting like a fucking lunatic, pacing up and down in front of the place with the news cameras on him, of course. But anyway, I ran into some friends there. Jack Ketchum was there in the erotic fiction department. I didn't know he was there. I wandered over to use the restroom, and then I saw him. I went over, shot the shit, had a couple shots of scotch with him, came back and stood on a chair and started hawking tapes like crazy. And Norm looked up and he goes, "If I knew that's all it would take to get you going, I would have brought a bottle with us." So I didn't hang around for the after hours stuff because, 3 days of this was pretty much nuts, and we basically sold $25,000 worth of VHS tapes in 3 days. Well, that put Norm on a little bit of a roll. So some guy had come into the store and told Norm about he was running a show down in South Jersey at a nightclub, and would he want to set up there? So Norm, sees dollar signs and says, "Oh yeah, I'll set up there. Not only that, I'll send this porn star we're friendly with, Minaj." Minaj was a black porn star with about a foot-long tongue, and she was pretty put together. So she was going to join us. So I didn't know he had done all this. I come in on this late, and he tells me what he's going to do. And I said, I'm not so sure about this one. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Jersey is a lot different than New York." I said, "We can get away with a lot of shit over here. But I don't know. Well, you booked it, so we'll do it." It was down in Middlesex County, I think, and I can't recall the name of the nightclub. I had to go down Saturday morning. He had 2 girls going down with me other than Minaj. One was Vicky and one was Rochelle. Rochelle was kind of a pain in the ass. And her cousin was Alex, that we were friends. He was an aspiring porn star. So we get down there and we find out, and this didn't surprise me, that we can't set up inside the building because there's a law in New Jersey that says you can't have adult-oriented material near alcohol. So, like I said, that came to fruition. So we're out in a tent in the parking lot with Minaj, with Vanessa Del Rio, and with another guy selling marital aids. So I'm trying to set this up, and Rochelle's just sitting there. And I said, "You going to help?" And she goes, "Norm wouldn't do it this way." I said, "Well, Norm told me he wanted me to do it, so I'm doing it my way. So please, get off your ass and help." Well, she ain't doing nothing. The whole deal was she was a pain in the ass, and for some reason Norm liked her, and the only reason she was down there was to hang out with Minaj. Not that she was an aspiring porn star, because she wasn't all that good looking anyway. So, okay, I got to deal with this fucking nonsense. But then the woman who's running this show comes up to me with a clipboard and says, "You and everybody with you has to sign this thing that you have no whatever, that selling adult material and being here doesn't bother you." Well, we all sign it except her. And I said, you got to sign this fucking thing. I'm not signing nothing. And the woman goes, well, she can't be here. I said, fine. You got anybody you can take her to the train station? Because I'm done. I'm done with this shit right about now. I need people that are going to fucking work, not people who are going to sit here and bitch. All right, so she gets one of her guys to take Rochelle to the train station. Well, Rochelle runs away and calls the cops. Now, I don't know anything about this. All right, about an hour goes by, this woman comes over and she goes, this bitch just caused you a huge problem. I says, how so? She's coming back with the cops. She says you assaulted her. I'm like, you're here, Vicky's here, Alex is here. I never touched her. So they come with the cops and I says, what's this about? I said, nobody touched this bitch. I said, she's a pain in the ass. She doesn't want to comply with the fucking rules. Alex can tell you, Vicky can tell you, this woman can tell you. We've tried everything. I don't want her here. So the police basically escorted her to the train station and made sure she got on the train. All right, well, we're doing okay. You know, we're selling shit. It ain't like the Javits one. It's not flying off the shelves. So I'm talking to Vanessa Del Rio, and she's going, well, you going to hang around tonight? Because Togi Joe really has some great parties. And I said, you know, to be honest with you, with all this bullshit I just went through today with this jerk-off woman and the cops, I'm just going to go home and crash. Fuck it. So Rochelle's gone. I don't know, we're there till like 8 o'clock at night. I drove Vicky back to the hotel room that Norman paid for because it was close to where I was staying. And I said, I'll pick you up first thing in the morning and we'll go down and, finish this off. So I get to my place and Norman calls me up and he goes, what happened? I said, simply, she didn't want to work. She didn't want to cooperate. She was pissing everybody off. I sent her home. He goes, well, she wants to come down tomorrow and I'll drive her down. I said, you do that. I will walk up to you, hand you the cash, take my day's pay, and you're never going to see my ass again. He says, you really feel that way? I said, Norm, I'm sick of putting up with this shit, okay? You're paying me to make money, not babysit some fucking twat who basically doesn't want to work and uses you as his excuse and everything else. He says, okay, I'll keep her home. All right. So he comes down, I hand him the money, we do a little bit more business. Like I said, it was sort of restrained because we couldn't do anything down there. So it ain't going to end there. I go back to the store and this bitch is basically giving me an attitude and fucking me around. Now, Norm, for whatever reason, ain't going to do nothing. But at that time, I was involved with a woman of color and she was living with me. And she goes, you're going to be there Saturday? And I says, yeah, why? She goes, I know you're not going to hit a woman. She goes, but I'm going to straighten this fucking mess out for you. So she shows up. She walks in, says hello to Norm, walks over to the counter where Rochelle was working, walks up to her and takes her sunglasses and goes like this and basically tells her pretty much that if you don't stop fucking with my man, he's too much of a gentleman not to hit you, but I will come back and beat the black off you. Okay, I hear that. That's enough. I said, okay, no, let's just end this shit once and for all. So actually, I didn't really have to do anything after that because she was packing an order and I saw the invoice on the order and I saw what was in the order and I walked over to Norm and I says, I would advise you to open that box and look at the invoice. He goes, why? I said, because she just gave somebody $10 DVDs for $1 a piece. Well, he opened it up, saw it, and guess what? She's gone. Finally, she was gone. And she was replaced by this girl, Pamela, who was great, and I could work with her. And we worked together until, unfortunately, Norman passed away. So, yeah, Norman, he got hooked up on these shows. We did okay down there. Right? We didn't do as close to what we did as the Javits Center, but we did okay. He decided, because the one that was doing the Javits Center was doing a show in San Francisco, he was going to go out there. I said, not going. We got Chiller. I says, why would you want to go out there when you know you're going to make bank at Chiller? And he goes, I said, dude, I can't go. I said, I make a nice payday with Chiller. You know that. So I pick out all the tapes. All the shits get freighted over to San Francisco, and he tanked. He came back and he tried to blame it on me. I says, I told you. He goes, you packed the wrong shit. I said, it didn't matter what I packed. I said, it wasn't going to work anyway. What works in New York doesn't work anywhere else. I said, you should have done Chiller. We would have been okay, but you got greedy, and this is what happens. So we never did another one. We kept on doing the Atlantic City shows until he passed away, but, I think I've already talked about them, so I'm not going to go into that. So here we are. It's the end of the week. Again, my sincere thanks for the sales on Grindhouse Resurrection, and I will definitely, announce as soon as we get the backup stock in. And the other book, Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square, will be in shortly, and we'll announce that too. Really happy about the way things turned out, and again, I'm thanking, John, Eric, Angie, and James Harmon for drawing that great cover. So we're already looking ahead toward number 2, and I've been working on stuff for that. So it's all good, and that hopefully may be out before Christmas. Be a nice Christmas present for everybody. So everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. I'm headed down to the haunted garage sale down at Avon Lake. So if anybody's heading down that way, maybe I'll see you there. So until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.